Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, here we are again, another night, and loaded with much information for our trans family and our LGBT community and those that love us. We work very hard to put the show together for you, trying to find the latest news and research so we can help educate you as we educate ourselves. And tonight we're going to start off with transgender news around the world, and the article's name is Mistaken Identity. Okay. How do I look? Jess, this is radio.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry, blonde on it.
Yes, we get from marrying a blonde.
Assuming
to marry, I'm only thinking about it. So
maybe you should rethink that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, mistaken identity. On Monday, psychiatrist Russell Reed was censored for improperly authorizing 5 sex changes. Claudia, whom Reed approved for gender reassignment 20 years ago, tells Julie Bendel how she was rushed into the operation and quickly came to regret it. There was a moment when Claudia, as a young gay man living with the person she describes as the love of her life, was blissfully happy. Now approaching 50 and medically retired from her successful career as an opera singer and performer, she is full of regrets. I feel I was railroaded into having a sex change, she says, when I should have been enabled to live happily in my own skin. Claudia, who does not wish to reveal her surname, is one of a growing number of male to female transsexuals who regret undergoing gender reassignment surgery.
In 1985, after a consultation with a psychiatrist, Russell Reed, that she says lasted only 45 minutes, she was diagnosed as transsexual and referred for surgery. Reed, until his retirement last year, was the UK's best-known expert in gender identity disorder. During more than 20 years of practice, Reed was responsible for assessing whether those wishing to change sex fit the criteria for treatment. On Monday, after a case lasting 3 years, the General Medical Council Disciplinary Committee ruled that Reed had prescribed hormones to 5 of his patients to sue and refer them to general surgery without properly assessing their mental and physical suitability.
From primary school onwards, Claudia was bullied for being effeminate and called a he/she. I grew up believing I could never live my life as a real man. I never for one moment thought I was a little girl trapped in a boy's body. I just did not want to be the sort of boy I was expected to be. By the time Claudia had her first real relationship, she was 18 years old and very sexually inexperienced. She met Martin. This is not his real name. In 1976, when she was at hairdressing college and he at Strathclyde University. He was beautiful, Claudia recalls, like a cross between Jesus and George Sachs. They soon became lovers and moved in together in Glasgow. Martin, however, insisted he was heterosexual and referred to Claudia as a woman with a penis.
Claudia had begun to dress as a woman in order to stop the homophobic bullying she endured on a daily basis. I looked so androgynous, she said. I had two choices. One was to butch up, the other to dress as a woman. Martin slept with women the whole time I was with him, says Claudia, and would say, if you were a girl, this wouldn't be happening. And of course, I believed him. A year after the surgery, Martin left Claudia. If I had been properly assessed, it would have been obvious that sex change surgery was inappropriate for me, says Claudia. I was desperately unhappy. I was going for a sex change because I felt under pressure from my boyfriend. No searching questions were asked about her background, and no warning of preparation were given as to the impact of such life-changing surgery. That surgery took place just 3 months after her consultation with Reed. Despite being an optimistic person, Claudia is dreading growing old alone. I'll never have a relationship. Who's going to want me when they get a real woman, she says. I am not a woman. I am a sex change, and men know that.
For Claudia, to live as a woman with a partner, she believes she would have to reinvent her past life and pretend she grew up as a woman, something she is not prepared to do. It is not possible to integrate and pass in the same way that it used to be because of all the raised awareness. People know what to look out for. Claudia is not bitter about her experiences, but would like an apology from me and some financial compensation to reflect the fact that her sex change ruined her career and personal life. She would also like to help prevent other troubled young men going through the same traumatic experience.
And in this story, unfortunately, there's many individuals that report the same thing. They get surgery all for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. And the hidden virtue in this story is do not do anything to make other people happy, because look at how this story turned out. She did what she thought she needed to do to keep her boyfriend, and what did he do? After she did it, he left.
And that is pretty sad, and it tends to happen a lot. I wanted to remind the listeners that the links to all these stories and things that we're covering tonight are placed on Blog Talk Radio, a little slideshow with the information about the show. So if you want to read more, we obviously do not give you the entire scope of the story, or we would be here for 2 hours, and it's a 30-minute show.
Yes, and that was a very long article. So
yeah, so I had to I want to talk a little bit about Surgeries Gone Wrong, a Transgender Nightmare. And this is a focus on tonight's show. SRS does not come without a price. And I'm not talking about the monetary expenses, although some of us have had issues with that. As I did my research on the topic, I was horrified at all the horror stories I encountered. While death is an unlikely result of complication from sex reassignment surgery, things can and do go wrong with the procedure. Even the most skilled of surgeons are, after all, human, and as with any surgery, there are risks.
You will sign a waiver, and a list of all possible complications are reviewed, but many really don't think it will happen to them. One patient shares her story. I slumped to the floor of the shower that morning in Trinidad, Colorado, water and reality running down on me. Bewilderment and terror replaced hope, which swirled toward the drain along with the feces and the blood. Emergency surgeries there, 4 more at home in Kalamazoo, and another in Denver, all have failed.
Chronic pain, heavy narcotics addiction, and a bout of deep depression are the hushed legacy I have battled. Left with the possibility of permanent colostomy and a painful fibrous lump between my legs where a vagina should be. It is nearly impossible not to revisit the devastation daily. It is now 2.5 years later. The sad thing is that after many failed attempts and several visits to a colon specialist, she was still left with pain, depression, and a colostomy bag. The surgery was done by a well-known surgeon, an icon in the SRS trans community, yet still complications and devastations were inevitable. She quotes, "Even a surgeon as accomplished as mine cannot overcome obstacles that she had no training for and little experience resolving. There are unseen and unsaid barriers that come into play. when someone with complications from SRS and must seek treatment aside from their original surgeon.
With that being said, the cost and the availability of these surgeons are rare, and still with no guarantees that patient will be fixed. In some cases, a complete TS transition may totally fail to meet very unrealistic expectations, and way too late, the transitioner may realize that undergoing sex reassignment surgery, SRS, was a big mistake. The risks involved in undergoing SRS in cases where the overall rationale for transition and or for undergoing SRS is questionable. Some examples of wrong reasons and wrong situations for undergoing SRS are: 1, efforts to become a center of attention and live a sexy life. 2, thinking it will automatically turn oneself into a woman in others' eyes. 3, deciding to become a woman on a whim, for example, in the midst of a midlife crisis. 4, doing it for autosexual thrills. 5, doing it while suffering from pre-existing serious mental conditions that are unrelated to gender identity disorder, such as depression, bipolar conditions, etc.
For FTMs, the complications are many, to include fistulas, necrotic tissue, and the inability to feel. Multiple surgeries are needed, and in the end, one ends up with a genitalia that doesn't resemble a genetic male's actual penis, requiring devices for erection and the possibility of losing the ability to orgasm. Defacing your body with scars, and not to mention the pain and complications. There is still no ideal techniques for phalloplasty, resulting in excellent aesthetic and functional outcomes. There are still problems with the neourethral reconstruction, but the incidence of complication has been reduced with new refinements of one-stage repair or by using a stage procedure, but still no guarantees.
Now, we're not trying to sway anybody one way or the other from SRX, but basically all we're saying is do your research. If you feel it's right for you, then more power to you. But basically, the need for SRS is actually the minute point of what we should focus on as NTS. I'm not speaking for FTMs, but NTS. Because we still, our secondary traits have taken on. It's harder to reverse those secondary traits. So if you want to feel more confident in being a woman, well, start from the top down and go from there and see how your confidence builds. The vagina that they can make you is not going to make you a woman.
You know, even besides the vagina, today when I was reading about all the different articles and put the show together, I was reading about Renee, what was her name, the tennis player.
Yes.
And
Renee Reed.
Yeah, no, Renee, the tennis player, I forgot the name now. She was very unhappy in the end because in the long run, she couldn't take away the male features. She had the male eyebrow structure, the jaws and things. And although there are feminization reconstruction surgery, it still does not completely leave you the way that you want. I have a lot of MTF friends who are very depressed and they have undergone the entire procedure and they're still not happy.
Exactly.
So let's see if we have any callers before we continue. Nope, we don't. All right. Well, we're going to talk.
Well, before we go on, you've had some problems with your hysterectomy.
Oh, definitely.
So why don't you explain that a little bit?
I had both mastectomy and hysterectomy done at the same time at the Cleveland Clinic here in Western Florida. My doctor who did my mastectomy had never done an FTM before, and I had to coach him how to do it. And although he did a pretty good job, you know, my nipples, I had a lot of pain from the scar tissue. He didn't know how to do the nipple graft that great. And luckily the scars weren't that bad because he was a good surgeon. Now, on the other hand, the gentleman who performed the hysterectomy, I was his first, and the entire staff was totally freaked out. And this happened over a Christmas vacation. I was admitted December 23rd. And the entire hospital staff was just freaking out. I mean, I was like a circus act to them, and I didn't get the optimal care that I should have. As a matter of fact, they hurt me. They had to place that catheter back inside of me because I was not going to the bathroom. And they were freaking out so much in doing this that they ended up creating a lot of scar tissue and hurting me dramatically. To this day, I have a lot of problems. I have scar tissues. I suffer from going to the bathroom. I have to sit there when I'm urinating. I can't think of anything. I can't even be talked to. I can't because it takes me forever, pardon the expression, to go pee. I can't lift as heavy as I used to when I was a female bodybuilder because there's still a lot of pain. There are nights that I have a lot of discomfort and pain from shifting around of the scar tissue, and this was back in 2003. We were talking about 2012. So it's not all hunky-dory. Not to say that this will happen to everybody, but complications are always there. And I had the surgery when I was like 38 years old, and I've heard a lot of horror stories as well from other trans men and having hysterectomy in the 9 yards.
And I think the biggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the biggest surgery that should be the main focus for FTMs is top surgery.
Well, definitely, because that's one of the ones no one knows what you're carrying around the pants. Like I told Maury Povich when he asked me what was underneath my pants, and I said, I have to ask you what's underneath your pants. Leave my wee alone. But unfortunately, when you have big tatas,
they gotta go.
And I feel for my brothers out there, and that's why we definitely want to get something together where we could find ways to raise funds for those that cannot afford it, or maybe get in cahoots with doctors where they could have some sort of half-price ordeal, and we get them on the show, advertise, do something. I mean, we're gonna brainstorm. We're working on this because no one should have to go through all that discomfort and pain. It's one of the members on our Facebook Transition Radio group mentioned, the frustration of being in the heat, working hard, and being in binding where you're actually, you can't barely even breathe. I mean, that's horrific. No one should have to go through that. And with that note, we're going to talk about
when is it time to stop hormones? Well,
and is there a time to stop?
Is there a time to stop hormones? Exactly. General hormone therapy can last 2 to 5 years, depending on how long it takes to fully achieve a complete transition, if there is such a thing. But the person will have to take hormones for the rest of their lives. The range of doses could be from 0.625 to 2.5 milligrams to upwards of 400 milligrams and vary depending on the type of hormone medication and specific purpose of the hormone.
There is a study about long-term treatment and the side effects. Results. Mortality was not higher than in the comparison group. Regarding morbidity, with ethinyl estradiol, there was 6 to 8% incidence of venous thrombosis, which is no longer the case with the use of the types of estrogen we use nowadays. Continuing use of pro-sex hormone is required to prevent osteoporosis. Androgen deprivation plus an estrogen minus in male to female transsexual has a larger effect on cardiovascular risk factor than inducing an androgenic minus in female to male transsexuals. There is so far no elevated cardiovascular morbidity or mortality. Low numbers of endocrine-related cancers have been observed in male to female transsexuals.
And this is why it's very important to, if you're going to undergo HRT, to do it under the care of a physician.
Definitely.
And not to self-medicate. Conclusion. Cross-sex hormone treatment of transsexuals seems acceptably safe over the short and medium term, but solid clinical data are lacking. So there is no evidence either way, but many trans people suffer from depression, and many people have been suicidal trying to deal with being transgender, which could bring down life expectancy.
The solution, or part of the solution, is to cycle off your hormones. I've read that cycling works because it's good to give your estrogen and testosterone receptors a break. The most legitimate sounding information I read actually sounded more like the problem, which was the sex hormone binding globulin, which getting all tied up to the estrogen or testosterone stops working as well if you don't give it a rest now and then. The people actually reporting these results from cycling estrogen and testosterone are pretty limited, but they're pretty positive. I personally have stopped hormone twice since I began taking them back in 2003. Every time it has proven to be a positive experience. Both times I was off for over a year and restarted with noted new changes and no complications. Please note, I did have a full distance, so for those who have not, I wouldn't cycle off that long. Keep it to a few months minimum. This is enough to reap the benefits. Now, we trans men know too well what happens when we take testosterone. And I wish I would have been educated on this back then because I am very bald now and I miss my hair and I hate this bald spot. And
we MTFs know, about transitioning later in life once that male pattern baldness kicks in, one of the secondary characteristics which I was referring to earlier. So basically, it works both ways where we're going with this segment here. Okay, how to prevent hair loss while on T. When it comes to hair loss, not everybody is affected by it. It is said that if you are genetically prone to male pattern baldness, MPB, the steroids can speed up this process, and it's a substance called DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which binds to the receptors in the scalp's hair follicles, causing thinning of the hairline. The simple answer, testosterone gets converted into DHT by an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, and that's 5-AR for short.
Now, let me see if I can give you a visual picture of this. As you start taking testosterone and DHT is created in your scalp, think of the hair follicle being strangled. And as this hair follicle is being strangled, less and less oxygen, nutrients, and blood flow is going to that hair follicle. And soon enough, the hair follicle starts to thin and thin and thin, and eventually the hair follicle dies and the hair falls off. Pretty sad, slow death, but when it starts to happen, it is grueling. So the question is, how do I stop this hair loss? You can help block the 5-AR enzyme from converting testosterone into DHT by using a medication called finasteride. There's another one called dutasteride. I can't even pronounce that. Dutasteride, Proscar or Propecia, which are the other medical names for it. Finasteride binds to the 5-AR enzyme, preventing conversion. To help prevent hair loss, DHT will need to be blocked at the scalp. There is shampoo called Nizoral, which is said to help with this, although it's sold as an anti-dandruff shampoo. How much finasteride do I need to take? Well, for the normal person, 1 milligram a day is enough to slow the natural hair loss down. Obviously, the more testosterone you take, the more DHT will be formed. Reverse hair loss, then you need to take this long term, which can be expensive.
Rogaine contains minoxidil, the only over-the-counter treatment apparently clinically proven to help prevent further hereditary hair loss, showing success in 4 out of 5 men. For some people, using Rogaine even reverses the process, resulting in regrowth of the hair follicle. Basically, it's a lotion that you can apply on your scalp to help stimulate hair growth. Now, this can also be used with MTFs. Just want to throw this in there very quickly. Finasteride has helped me a lot because spironolactone breaks down your hair follicles and speeds up the DHT process. Finasteride helps prevent that from happening. So talk to your doctors if you are on spironolactone. And estradiol. Talk to your doctor about maybe putting you on a finasteride regimen. Right now, I'm currently on 5 milligrams a day. So that will help MTFs prevent hair loss as well and help make your hair fuller. The hair loss prevention regrowth cycle, Nizoral shampoo used every other day, finasteride 1 milligram every day, depending on testosterone dose. Rogaine used twice daily throughout and continue after. Natural alternatives, take a herbal remedy, saw palmetto at the same time. This will prevent hair loss from the testosterone. But can you count on saw palmetto to stop hair loss from testosterone patches?
Well, since saw palmetto is said to be effective for reducing the symptoms of enlarged prostate, logically it must be blocking DHT. But for the likelihood, saw palmetto does not affect DHT. Now, the use of saw palmetto, an herbal remedy, can be traced back thousands of years to the Mayan civilization with many medicinal applications. It is said that saw palmetto may have 5 reductase inhibitory activities, which prevents the conversion of testosterone to DHT. Saw palmetto is touted as a way to reduce male pattern balding. Now, also, a healthy diet filled with alkalinizing raw foods can help with regrowth and prevent hair loss.
What are some alkalinizing foods?
Well, such as spinach, kale, all the green foods are very alkalinizing. The broccoli, staying away from animal products, such as an acidic diet. I'm going to go back to when I was a raw vegan.
You'll love this one.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to use...
Let me ask you, when you were raw vegan, how much did you weigh?
105 pounds.
But I said 102.
Well, yeah, but anyway.
I weigh 124. So you weighed less than I did.
But I don't care. I was still pretty ripped. I was skinny, but...
I could have bench pressed you.
Listen, you could not. I could have. We're not going to get into that. Anyway.
Stuff you in an envelope and mailed you.
Lose my train of thoughts here. I started seeing a lot of hair growth when I eliminated all the animal products, and I started doing a lot of juicing and a lot of just raw foods in general. Kept it to fruits and a lot of greens, a lot of organic greens, which is very good for you. And I started seeing, to my excitement and amazement, a lot of new hair growth on my head. Really? Yeah, really. Now it's gone. It's now eating the crapola you feed me, which I want to add.
I feed you.
I want to add that I'm putting my foot down, and as of today, I am starting to become a vegan again, and adding a lot of more raw foods to it. And I don't care what she eats. I told her, you eat whatever you want. I'm going to eat what I want.
I'll be back. I'm going to McDonald's for a cheeseburger.
Well, go ahead. You kill yourself, and I'll be alive for the next cutie pie that's going to come my way. Oh. Anyway, what else to say? Well, we got 4 minutes left of the show. Any callers out there interested in asking us any questions, please feel free to call us at 646-716-6895.
Since you ran your mouth so much and so long, nobody had a chance to call in.
Well, nobody tried to. All right, because they were listening to the information. Sometimes people like to listen, unlike you. I just like to ramble on and cut me off when I'm trying to get the information.
I love you.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Anyway, I love you too. Ow. Anyway, we try to fill the show up with as much informative information for you guys, and we also try to bring interesting guests, people that can share their knowledge and experience with you. We have many exciting guests in the near future lined up, and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. We want to thank you for supporting us. Visit our website. We're actually having a lot of new things up there. We're going to get chat and webcamming.
Yes, we got a lot of links that we added up there, which is very informative. Everything on our important links tab on the page, www.transitionradio.net. We have a bunch of links that we put up there for doctors, surgeons, therapists, hormonal guides that give you information that you need about dosages and hormones and everything so that you know what you're doing.
And for those doctors out there or anybody that wants to advertise or sponsor us, feel free to visit the website. Our information is there, how to contact us, and we'll work with you. We're here to help the community. Even myself, if anybody wants me to help them with nutritional or fitness program, I work on a sliding scale to help those that are in need. I never turn anyone down. I want to thank Thomas Moore yesterday for the wonderful testimonial. If you guys missed that interview, please check it out. Great man, great story. It's on the actual Facebook page and on the Facebook group page and on my page. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if you have it on the website yet.
Yes,
last night's show.
Yes, that's already up there.
All right, great. So, what?
So, also, we have added a forum to the website under chat/forum, where you can come in, sign up, and you'll be able to post forums. And who knows? You might meet that MTF transsexual girl you've been dying to meet, or vice versa.
It's going to help you go to your grave sooner.
Yes, well, that's why we shave your hair, so the gray hairs don't show.
No, not gray hair. Grave to my grave sooner.
Gray.
So, guys, if you want to die sooner, please hook up with MTF. No, I'm only joking, guys. I got to love her.
Thank you. That's it.
Right. Thank me.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's got this thing about pulling my chest hair, and it's annoying. It is so annoying that I have to do everything within my power not to kill her.
Well, good. Then the feeling's mutual. We may not be on the air anymore because we would have killed each other.
Yeah, so if we don't come on, tomorrow night, we know you guys know what happened and send the ambulance because it means we ousted each other. It's incredible. Can't live with them, can't live without them. Anyway, I don't love them, man. Thank you so much, and please follow us on the Blog Talk Radio. Hit the little follow button. Show us your support by doing that, and all that good stuff. Go to the website, sign our guest book, and
check out the forums.
We work very hard to get the show out, even though it's only a half-an-hour show. It takes us all day and research and get the most updated information. and all that good stuff. We love you guys, and remember to always love yourself too. Good night.
Good night.
It's been a while since we spoke again. Been a while since we see birds flying through the meadow, children play on the street. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand, walking through the park. Where did we go wrong? It's been a while since I held you. It's been a while since I smelled your hair, the tender kiss I remember, the gentle touch everywhere. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand, walking through the park. Where did we go wrong? How did we go wrong? It's been a while since I felt your love. It's been a while since I've seen your face. A precious smile lights up my soul. Special ways now finds me alone. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable I thought, holding hand in hand, walking through the park. Where did we go wrong? How did we go wrong? Since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday inseparable, I thought, holding hand in hand, walking through the park. Where did we go wrong? How did we go wrong? Miss you so. Oh, I miss you so.